collectors and Masters of the Universe fans. Once again, it's the one and only Optibotimus coming at you with another video review. And on today's episode, thanks to all of your support, especially those of you that are Optibotimus Plus channel members, we're going to be taking a look at the new Masters of the Universe Origins TUNGLASHOR. A creature with the venomous tongue. Yeah, that's his thing. As I talked about in the King Hiss video, we are finally getting a lot of these absolutely incredible Snake Men figures. And while a couple have already sort of come out, like for example, Cobra Khan, Camo Khan, all of those who I haven't actually been able to find yet, this one I was. And I absolutely love it. The card is amazing. You got this cool snake motif going on here, and then it fades down to the more kind of classic rocks breaking through. Of course, you got tongue lash, forked tongue included to strike enemies. Oh, okay. You got that retro play. You get this really nice, cool Snake Man sticker. I also really like how the blister itself has this cool scale effect, which is really neat. You can really see it right there. That's really cool. I love that slight change to the very classic package that we're used to. Come around to the back and you can see a lot of these other figures, such as Snake Armor Skeletor. Of course, you got Hypno, who I don't care about, and then Roboto, which this is the second version of Roboto that we've gotten. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe that's the mini comic version. But you come up here, and this is what's got me super excited. You got TUNGLASHOR right there, but you also got Cyclone. And almost every single time they have shown this art, there are little teases to future releases, and that was always one of my favorite vintage figures, and I can't wait for them to do them. Hopefully, it has that same kind of action feature where you could spin them around. Really, very cool. You have a little bit of a read-up right here, if you'd like to pause it and read it right there. And then you've got this nice call action here, which shows you his ability to plug his tongue into his mouth, and then you can fit his staff and crossbow in his hands. That's about it. But for the packaging on this guy, that is about it. So without further ado, let's get him out here and see how cool he actually is. And here we have Ratlord opened up and out of his packaging. And as always, he does come with the mini comic. It is Assassin's Aim. And you can see that there's a couple different characters that are in this new wave, most of which I don't really care much about other than the Ratlord figure, but you go through here, bunch of different cool illustrations. You got Snake Armor Skeletor there, which looks cool. I really do like that they include these. I just, honestly for me, I don't keep them. I'd be really curious if anybody does and it gets these like sent out to be graded or something, but you know, the art's still nice. Then for the figure, because he's one of the Snake Men, he does come with his snake staff. This is the purple version of it. Got a couple other ones before, but you got like the little rattle tail down here, and then the snake spiraling around the actual staff section itself. His weapons are cool, but there's a problem with using the weapons with this guy, and I'll show that here in a little bit, but you can see that the color is really nice on it. He also does come with this dragonfly crossbow sort of thing. You can see you got the little wings up here, the little head, you got the little straps down here, got a little bit of a handle, and then the tail section coming down here. What's interesting is this guy always kind of reminded me of one of those like poisonous frogs. It's funny to me because frogs typically use their tongue and eat things like dragonflies, so I always thought that was kind of funny, but this is very much like the vintage one. I'm just playing around with it. But all of this stuff is fairly vintage related. And then he comes with a tongue. You can see that it is a soft, pliable material here, but you got this really nice green color that kind of transitions down to this yellow. So, again, I mean, I know he's a snake, and snakes go with their tongue to smell things, but this just seems like, I'm going to eat you. But here's a problem that some people have with this figure. Now, through the years, the Masters of the Universe figures always had a very action feature friendly sort of thing going on with it. Now, to maintain the swappable nature of his head, they did have to get rid of the action feature that the vintage figure had, and that was, there was a little wheel here that you would roll this up and roll it back, and it would make the tongue come out and then retract back in, which was fun because you could go, you know, like a snake would. But because they have this head section the way that it is, you lose that. Is that bad? It doesn't really bother me all that much. Some people it does bother, and it's, for me, I don't mind it too terribly much because you do have this tongue. You can actually peg this in there and still create that look for them. You can, even if you wanted to, rotate it around the other way and have them going upwards, you know, and like reaching for the dragonfly. So you have different options with it. Would that have been cool to still have that? Because that was kind of fun to make it and constantly move around and everything. I don't know. And tongues, snake tongues don't tend to stick out this far from the head. It's a very frog-like tongue, but I don't know. That's definitely why. I mean, like, some people complained about Mechaneck and how you couldn't twist his body and make the neck go up and down anymore. That probably bothered me more than this, but I'm okay with it. And I don't know. I mean, at least they figured out a way to kind of do that. I think that they got a good compromise. Colors on this guy are absolutely gorgeous, but like I said, definitely reminds me more of a frog, especially when you look at, like, his hands. These just seem like Frogman kind of hands, and I mean, they're not Frogman. I mean, there's a Frogman figure, and these are not his hands. These are completely new hands, so that's nice to see. But definitely doesn't seem like a snake hand to me for the most part. You got that gorgeous neon snake logo there, very bright orange here. He's got full on, I don't even know what, like, he's got every ab you can think of fully displayed there. Do all these other guys? They really don't. He's definitely a ripped dude. The back section here, you can see a lot of those painted details as well. Great purple and then darker purple throughout it. The head sculpt looks fantastic with these very sharp fangs coming around here. Gorgeous eyes. Everything on him does look really good. Of course, you can have that squat pose for him where he's going to be that shorter action figure, but you can straighten out the legs, both at the hips, the knees, and the ankles, and create a taller action figure, which I will be more than likely doing just because I like them to be a little bit taller now. I think that is a cool look. I brought in King Hiss a second ago for comparison, and you can see how those guys scale together. Obviously, they're going to scale very nicely, although King Hiss is a little bit taller just because his head... Oh, look, they're kissing. His helmet gives him a little bit of height. But these are the only two Snake Men figures that I have so far. And again, he just doesn't seem like a snake. The Ratlore figure should be coming out fairly soon to online retailers, and I'll probably get mine through Big Bad Toy Store or Entertainment or something like that, because my local stores really aren't carrying these much. I still have the same, it's the, I think, mini comic version of Stratos and the guy with the gold karate chopping hand. I forgot his name, but those are literally the only ones that show up at my Target. I don't see any other ones anymore, so it's really unfortunate, but I am getting them through the online retailers, which you guys can too. I'll put links obviously down in the video description for you, but the overall look on this guy is stellar. I really love the colors on here. I can't wait to get more of them. You know, obviously, like I said, Ratlore. They recently just announced that Squeeze is going to be coming out, which is really cool. He's got arms that are very similar to King Hiss, but they're much longer. Of course, Cobra Khan's coming, or already out. I don't know. I know Camo Khan has already hit. I haven't seen any other ones, like I said, but it's cool to be expanding this and giving us some more of those characters from the Snake Man sort of aspect of things. So overall, really very cool. Articulation is obviously going to be the same. You have a ball joint here for the neck. You have a pin hinge joint here for the shoulders. The rotation at the elbow as well as the hinge. You have a wrist that does rotate. You can pop those off if you're so inclined. And then, yeah, you can hinge those up and down. Get that in there. So you can flex that kind of however you want. You do have a waist rotation. You can also rip them in half if you're so inclined. The hips move forward and back. They move in and out. Those are on ball joints. And then you have pin hinge joints here for the knee, for the hinge, and then the rotation. Ankles have the forward and back. And then, of course, the hacky sack pose for you. So, tons of articulation in the guy. And like I said, I know some people are going to be a little bit disappointed that he doesn't have that action feature, but I think that in keeping with what they have already established, I'm okay with it. One thing, though, that I was kind of talking about with these weapons is that you can see these hands. He can't hold them very well unless you kind of wedge them through the gap right here. So if you go like this, you kind of have to put one finger on the outside and then the other two on the inside. That's kind of annoying. Honestly, he doesn't really hold his weapons very well otherwise. And then the staff is even trickier to do. You literally have to take this and, again, kind of wedge this in like that. So it's kind of, yeah, it doesn't really hold it all that well. I mean, you do have to kind of be very creative with it. I mean, you can still get it, but he definitely doesn't hold them very well. But you do have to get creative with the holding of them. But the overall look and even execution of the figure is really cool. Colors are amazing. They pop. They're vibrant. Very, very wicked cool looking. I'm happy with them. I know, like I said, some people aren't, but I think that he turned out really very, very nicely. So, all that being said, if TUNGLASHOR is a figure that you would like to add to your collection, he's available online at various retailers like Big Bad Toy Store and Entertainment Earth. For both of those, I will put links right down there in the video description where you can swing on over there and check out availability on him, as well as the rest of the wide range of Masters of the Universe Origin figures. And as a special bonus, if you do decide to go to Entertainment Earth via the link in my video description, in addition to being able to get free shipping on orders over a certain amount, any order for a figure that you place that is in stock, you'll be able to save yourself 10%, helping all of you guys to save some money, and is also a really easy way, if you're already going to buy something, to help show your support for my channel. And that would be greatly appreciated. And finally, guys, please remember that the real trouble with the world is that too many people grow up. Thank you all so much for tuning in and watching. And until next time, this is Optibotimus saying adios, au revoir, and auf Wiedersehen.